What's up, guys? Welcome to the weekly technicals for February 3rd, 2019. And just before I go ahead and get started, I do want to say that I am visiting family right now back in Louisiana, so it may sound a little bit different because I am not on my regular setup. And also, if it sounds like I'm talking quietly, it is because it's pretty late here. It's about 4:45 in the morning. So I don't want to be too loud and wake anyone up. But with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll jump right into this. And I'm unable to do this as a live session because I don't have the internet connection. The internet's super slow, so I need to give it about 3 to 4 hours to export this video here. So I did want to just go ahead and pre-record this to make sure that I can have it uploaded by tomorrow at the proper time. So looking at the economic calendar for this upcoming week, we have Australian dollar news for Sunday for 4:30 p.m. So we've got Asia session, Australian dollar news, but I wouldn't recommend trying to take any trades or anything as early as Sunday. But I do think with this week, now that we do have FOMC and NFP out of the way, I do think that we should expect a little bit more volatility to come within the markets and see a little bit of clearer price action as well. So I will pretty much resume back to my normal trading this week. And with that being said, looking at Monday, we do have a good bit of Australian dollar news. So I'll be keeping an eye on that for Asia session Monday. But going into Tuesday, we have dollar index news during New York session around 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So could see a little bit of a late late New York session volatility for Tuesday. So this could be an optimal trade opportunity here. And going into Wednesday, we also have some more dollar index news here for New York session. So we could definitely see some pretty nice setups for both maybe euro and cable here for Tuesday and Wednesday during New York session. And looking at Thursday, early on in New York session, we have a lot of British pound news here, so we could see a good bit of volatility coming in the market for British pound, and a medium impact dollar index news as well. So I believe the best trading days for the week will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is perfectly in line with the days that I look to trade in terms of high probability setups, that is. So I will be looking for the market to ideally trade into key support or resistance levels during these times based on the framework that we have here with the upcoming news events for the week. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the technical portion of this video and we'll cover the pairs that we talk about. So looking at dollar index here, this is a daily time frame. Last week in the weekly technicals, I mentioned that we do want to see if dollar index could in fact trade up into that 96 big figure and then get a bit of rejection. So if you guys look here on January 30th, we had the high come in at 95.98, so that was the high of the week. And we were just 2 pips off of our level here, so that would have been the opportunity to go short with the target of lower prices. Now, we have not broken below our monthly support yet, so I will be waiting for the market to get below that 95.20 level. And ideally, I would like to see them start rejecting early on in the week. In my eyes, there's no real reason for them to come all the way back up above 96 big figure. So ideally, I'd like to see them stay below that and see a continuation to the downside. Again, if we can get below that 95.20 level, I'll be looking for a break and close below that. And then a retest of that level will provide another potential opportunity if you haven't gotten on board yet. Or also, to add maybe a position here and then square off some of your initial position once we break below this low. But ultimately, I will be looking for lower prices. We do have this daily liquidity, as mentioned last week as well, at the 94.80 level. And if we scroll out a bit, we do have a good bit of liquidity resting below the market here at 93.80. And then with a continuation or a spike lower, we could see 93.20. So that's what I'm going to be looking for a little bit on the longer term for the downside on dollar index. Now, if we do, because we haven't necessarily made a lower low yet, so if we do start trading higher and we get back above 96 big figure, I'll be aiming for, the liquidity above the market, which will then be at 96.70, 97 big figure, and then we have these equal highs back up at 97.70. So that will be, my objectives in terms of the upside, only if we break above 96 big figure. But as long as we remain below the 96 big figure level, I'll be anticipating lower prices and looking for the liquidity below the market on dollar index, which that in itself should mean higher prices on foreign currency. So, refer back to that beginning portion of the video where we talk about the economic calendar. We'll be looking for, these markets to ideally trade into or through those key levels around those same times that those, news events will be coming out. So if we jump into euro dollar now, last week in the weekly technicals we mentioned that we do want to see this potentially trade back down into that 14 big figure. Well, we actually seen the market go a little bit lower than that. We've seen 1.1390 as a low, so about 10 pips lower, so that's expected, nothing really, out of the ordinary there. And then we did see another spike lower here on the same day that we had dollar index with that pretty volatile day, which I believe was FOMC. And we've seen a low on this day here at 1406, so this would have been an optimal buying opportunity. In hindsight, obviously, I did not take any trades during FOMC or NFP, but this could have been, the first position in terms of, upside objectives for euro dollar. Now, I'm not positioned in anything like that yet, but I will be looking to get positioned on the buy side this week with the expectations of a further continuation higher. So I will obviously need the confirmation first, because current price action isn't giving me anything or at a level that I would want to be a buyer at yet. So as long as we remain above the 14 big figure, I do believe we'll continue higher for this 1.1580 big figure here, which is the daily liquidity, and that will be pretty much my weekly objective will be if we can get above 1580. Ultimately, my first targets will be secured though once we get above Thursday's high, which the high of this candle comes in at 1515. So that'll be about 60 pips or so to the upside. So I'll square off, if I can get a position on in here off of a logical level, then I will be looking to square off the majority of my position once we get above this high, and I'll keep a small portion on for the 1580 level. But keep in mind, once we do get above this daily high here on Thursday at the 1515 level, I will be looking to move my stop loss to break even. So I'll more than likely clear off some profits as we get above 15 big figure, because it is a big figure level. And at that point, if we get 1515, maybe with a spike or something like that, then, I'll exit at 1515. But anywhere's between 15 big figure and 1515 will be the first targets for me in terms of, squaring off some of my position for the buy side. And with a continuation up to 1580, I'll leave on the remainder of my position. Now, if we start trading lower, okay, and say we get below 1.14 big figure, at that point I will either be anticipating a continued consolidation or potential lower prices. But ideally, I need to see them break below this daily low here at 1.13 big figure. If we can do that, then it's pretty clear where we'll be heading next, which will be this 1.1270, which is the daily equal lows, and then we've got some daily liquidity resting below the 1.1220 to 1.12 big figure levels. So that's what I'll be looking at in terms of the downside, but for the most part for this week, I will be anticipating higher prices on euro with the expectations of dollar index continuing lower. So let's move to British pound now, so cable, and this is again a daily chart, and for this one we've been pretty unclear in terms of what we're looking for in terms of optimal trades. So I haven't been particularly trading this pair, but we have been calling higher prices, and so far we have definitely seen that. So the next level of daily liquidity will be resting above this high, which comes in at 1.3250. So, from where we're at now, that's about 250 pips. So that's a pretty significant run up. Now that is a little bit longer term, so I'm not saying that we will get that by the end of the week. It is possible, but I'm not 100% sure whether or not, they're just going to continue going up from here. So one thing that I am watching is, I believe I mentioned this last week as well. We have this 1.13 big figure here, which is daily support. So we can easily trade a bit lower, which is about 75 pips, but for cable that isn't too much. They can do that, within a day's trading. So for example, we can see Sunday, Monday trade lower into 1.13 big figure. That could be the potential buying opportunity after we've seen the bullish confirmation. So we do want to make sure that we drop down to the lower time frames from there, and we want to make sure that the market is proving to us that it's going to go higher. And how we know that it's doing that is by the market forming higher highs and higher lows on the lower time frames. So if you're analyzing on a daily, you're probably going to want to drop down to about a 1 hour, or even lower. You can go into about a 15-minute chart, and that would be the lowest I would suggest when you're analyzing off the daily at least. And you can go down to the 15-minute, and you want to see higher highs and higher lows forming. And once you get that confirmation, then you can go long with the anticipation of higher prices, looking for that 1.3250 level as a target. But you will want to square off some partial profits as we break each daily swing high. So we have this 3150 level here, right? And if we go long at 1.30 big figure to 3150, that'll be about 150 pips. So that'll be a significant return on the week. If we can, in fact, get that price action that I am expecting, with this particular pair. So things are seeming to get a little bit back in line. I wouldn't say that they're fully in line or in sync yet, with the dollar index, for example. We have been seeing pretty heavy manipulation within this pair alone. So I am cautious. I'm not necessarily looking to jump into anything or nothing like that. I'm still focused on euro dollar as well. But we do have to factor in that, we could see a pretty significant rally on British pound if we do trade into this level, because we would be coming off of daily support. And the overall market structure is in fact bullish. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and delete these arrows because we don't need those anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and cover Euro GBP really quickly as well. And I know this isn't too much of a long session, guys, but like I said, the internet here isn't the fastest, so I do want to make sure that it actually exports and I'm able to upload it, because the export will take a little bit of time, but the upload as well to YouTube takes a good bit of time, and Facebook as well. So I want to make sure that I can actually have this video uploaded tomorrow. And I think, with me doing it at this time, I can have it uploaded by hopefully noon Pacific Standard Time at the absolute latest tomorrow. So, sorry, I know that was a little side note from our session here. But looking at Euro GBP on a daily basis, we mentioned this last week as well. We've left these equal lows around this 86.20 level here. So it's obvious, they're trying to build the idea that we're finding support, and while we have seen a nice little pop up, I don't necessarily see us continuing, for example, all the way back above these daily equal highs. With us being, within the bottom portion of the range here, I'm expecting this market to continue rolling over and selling off. So, when we analyze this pair, we basically look to see which of the two pairs would be the better opportunity for trades this week. Will it be euro or will it be British pound? And based off this analysis here, if we do in fact find some resistance here and we start trading lower with Euro GBP, that would mean weaker euro and stronger British pound. So with our expectations of dollar index trading lower, British pound would be the better opportunity. But again, we have to factor in what is our analysis on the higher time frame, and for British pound specifically, we want to see if we can get down to that 1.30 big figure level, and if we get that, then we want to see the market find support, give us the confirmation on the lower time frame, hourly or 15-minute, and if we get that, then we'll be looking for that 1.3150 level, which will give us the opportunity of about 150 pips or so. And if you compare that with the potential downside we have on Euro GBP, we have from where we're at now to the equal lows, we have 130 or 130 to 135 pips. So relatively equal with our analysis on British pound for about 150 pips. So when identifying key setups and trying to frame out your trades, you want to see are the markets behaving, and in terms of the range, is it relatively similar in terms of the length. So pips, for example. So you're looking for 150 pips. You look at Euro GBP, you see that it's got about 130 pips potential on the downside, and that could lead British pound to a 100 pip plus run on the upside, which would be a perfect amount of pips or so for the week for us, as well as a great example of calling where the market's going to go before the fact, waiting for it to hit our level, give us the confirmation, then we actually execute a trade based off of that. So that's kind of where I'm at in terms of really all three of those currency pairs specifically. Overall though, if we're looking at Euro GBP, we can see that we are still within a range. We are in a consolidation. We've got equal highs, we've got equal lows, and we've been unwilling to get below this low here at 86.20. So again, I'm not necessarily seeing that as support. I'm just seeing that more so as them building the idea for retail traders to potentially go long this market, and I do believe that they will eventually take this thing lower, which could present some nice trading opportunities in cable British pound USD. So that is just about everything for today. Those of you in my premium group, if you do have any questions, be sure to just post them, either comment on this video, or you can actually post within the Facebook group and tag me in it, so I will get the notification. And for those of you that watch this on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment below if you have any questions or anything that you're confused about. Feel free to drop a comment, and then I'll go in and I can answer it. Or if it's something that will require a little bit more length, I can make a video about it, and hopefully that'll answer your question as well. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this weekly technicals. And again, I apologize. I know it's a bit of a short session. I'll be back in California Tuesday, so I get in late Monday evening. But tomorrow I'll be spending the majority of the day with my family. My birthday is February 11th, so I won't be seeing them for my birthday, and I'm just gonna kind of spend the day with them and have some family time, I guess. So hopefully you guys understand and can respect that. But if you do have any questions or concerns or anything like that, feel free to reach out. I'm still here. I'll be by my computer as well as my phone, so I'll be able to respond to any questions you guys have. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the session here. Hope you guys have a great week, and be smart with your trades. And if you're confused with anything, go back, rewatch this video, and get a more in-depth feel of what I'm looking for this week and how I'll be acting on anything that does take place within the markets. So you guys have a good trading week, and I'll talk to you next Sunday.